Obinna was devastated. He couldn't believe the type of treatment he started receiving from the maidens of his community. Some of the maidens that used to bow down to greet him before no longer greet him anymore. They would just pat him as if he was a kind of invisible being. He was traumatized. He was so surprised, especially at Ijego, who was always all over him, that it took his good upbringing to control himself from having sex with her, because she was always all over him, flaunting his body around him. But since the declaration was made that he is no longer the Prince of Umike, Ijego have never come to check on him. She comes to the palace every day to look for Ugo, but she doesn't care to come and greet him or check on him anymore. He have never entered his room since then. She will just come, greet Ugo, and go straight to Obieze's room. It's now Obieze that she greets and flaunts her body around. Obinna complained to her sister Ugo on the mistreatment he is getting from Ijego. Complained to Ugo that he had been trying to talk to Ijego all this while, but Ijego hadn't given him the chance. Ugo decided to confront Ijego about that. So one day, Ugo asked Ijego, "Why are you doing this to my brother? You used to love my brother, you used to be so fond of him. But now, why is it so difficult for you to even greet him, to even give him a chance to speak to you? Why is that?" Ijego said, "I'm not doing anything to your brother. If he wants to speak to me, am I not always here in the palace? He can speak to me." Ugo now told her, "Okay, I charge you, before you leave here today, go and see my brother Obinna. He has something to tell you." Ijego agreed. When he left Ugo's room, he went to Obinna's room and asked Obinna, "You said you have something to tell me. Please say it and be fast about it, because I have something else to do." Obinna began to ask her, "Ijego, what did I do to you? Why are you treating me this way?" Ijego said, "Excuse me, how am I treating you?" Obinna asked her, "Since when did you enter my room last? You used to stay in my room every time you come around the palace. But for months now, you have not stepped foot in this my room. We have not even talked to each other. Why? What did I do to you?" Ijego asked him, "Did I tell you that you do anything to me? You did nothing to me, and I don't think I'm doing anything to you. I don't know why you are claiming to be a victim. Am I the one that stripped you of the princeship of this kingdom?" Obinna was so surprised hearing such from Ijego, but he let it slide. He said, "Please, Ijego, there's something I've been wanting to tell you for some time now. Please, I want to tell you that now." Ijego said, "Okay, I'm all ears. Talk, I'm listening." Obinna continued, "Ijego, I love you so much. You have always been in my mind, and I've always dreamed of the day you will become my wife. So, that's what I want to tell you now. Ijego, please, will you marry me? Please, be my wife." Ijego stared at Obinna for some time with so much disgust. When she finally found her voice, she replied, "Obinna, how dare you? How dare you ask me to marry you? A cheap commoner like you. Do you realize that I'm no longer the Prince of Umike Kingdom? So what makes you think that I can marry you now? All the while you were the prince, you never proposed to me. Why now? Obinna, please, I cannot marry you." Obinna was shocked. He said, "Ijego, why can't you marry me? I know you loved me." Ijego replied, "I loved you, But that's when I thought that you were the prince of this kingdom, and that you will one day become the king. But now, you are no longer the prince, and I know that there's no way you will ever become the king of this kingdom. Therefore, what do I stand to gain by loving you like this? I don't love you anymore. Obinna asked her. So it was all about the crown, all about the throne, all about being a queen. Ijegu said, yes, I want to be the queen of this kingdom. And as far as you cannot be the king of this kingdom, I cannot marry you. Obinna was devastated, but there's nothing he can do. As he was opening his mouth to say another word, Ijegu already left his room and went to Obieze's room. All through the time that Obinna was mistreated by the people of Umike because he was no longer the prince, it was only Masinachi that still respected and regarded him. After Ijegu turned Obinna down, Obinna knows that he doesn't have any other choice. No other person loves him and no other person he loves except Masinachi. So he went to Masinachi and asked Masinachi if she could marry her. Masinachi gladly accepted to marry Obinna. When Obinna asked, why did you accept to marry me, even though I am no longer the prince? Masinachi told Obinna, I have always loved you. I did not love you because you were the prince. I did not love you because you will one day make me the queen. I just loved you. I just love you for being Obinna. Obinna asked, so don't you want to be the queen of Umike kingdom? Masinachi answered, I would have loved to be the queen of Umike kingdom. But that will be if I will be your wife. Being your wife is most important to me. You come first before the throne. If I have you and don't have the queen, I don't have problem with that. I will be very happy. If I'm the queen without you being my husband, I may not be happy for the rest of my life. So I love you, not because of the throne. Obinna was marveled at how much Masinachi loved him. Then Obinna asked Masinachi, so you'll be happy living with me, being my wife, even while I am not the king? Masinachi said, yes, you are all I want. You come first before every other thing. So right there, Obinna made up his mind that Masinachi will be his wife. Come what may, no matter what happens, Masinachi will be his wife. And from that day, his love for Masinachi increased a lot. He couldn't think of any other person except Masinachi. So after 2 years, Ezemo told the king that it was time to crown the prince of Umike kingdom so that he will be qualified to be the king when his father dies. So the whole people of Umike kingdom were summoned for that ceremony. So on the day of the ceremony, the people of Umike gathered at the palace. When it was time for the ceremony, the king came up with a very big news that shocked the people. Instead of presenting Obieze as the person that would be crowned the prince, Obinna was presented. The people were surprised. A lot of murmuring was going on. So the Ezemo stood up and addressed the crowd. He said to them, yes, I know that all of you are surprised that Obinna is the one being crowned as the prince that will take over the throne of Umike instead of Obieze. Now I want you to know, all these things were planned. It was a plot to test the loyalty of all the ladies that are flaunting around Obinna. It was planned by the Ezemo and the Igwe to tell the people that Obinna is not the prince of Umike kingdom, so that it will be known who love him and so that he will not make a mistake in the wife he will marry. So today, I, as the Ezemo of this community, stand to tell you that Obinna remains the Prince of Umike Kingdom, and he is still the heir apparent to the throne of Umike Kingdom. So today, Prince Obinna is being crowned the Prince of Umike Kingdom, and he will take over the throne of Umike Kingdom when his father dies. The people were surprised. Some people who treated Obinna with contempt didn't know what to do again. Ijego buried her face in shame, and at that time she was already pregnant for Obieze. Obieze left the palace. He was paid hugely to play the role of the Prince of Umike. He left being well paid, and he left Ijego behind. The worst part is that Ijego does not even know where Obieze came from. He did not know him. So Obieze left him, and she was left alone with pregnancy. So after Obinna was crowned the Prince of Umike Kingdom, after a few months, he got married to Masinachi. Ijego was heartbroken. She buried her face in shame. She was an object of discussion and gossip among everybody in the town. She couldn't come out again. She hid herself in her parents' house every day, crying her eyes out. On the day of Obinna and Masinachi's traditional marriage, she nearly killed herself. It took the intervention of her mother to make her not to kill herself. And so many years later, when King Ezemo was old and couldn't rule the people again, he was being taken care of so well by his children, especially by his daughter-in-law, Masinachi. After some time, the king died, and Obinna becomes the king of Umike Kingdom, while Masinachi becomes the king, and they ruled like King Ezemo. The land of Umike continues to be strong and influential among all the people. So this is the story of Obinna and Masinachi. What do you learn from this story? There is a lot of lessons to learn from this story.